Hello and welcome to League of Britain Round 8 Silverstone. Hello and welcome to Round 8 then. I wasn't speaking, I'm speaking now, John. Can you hear me now, mate? Thank you, Ryan. Yes, Jackie. One knob. Excuse the language. So we just wait for a couple of the drivers then to join. Got 18 at the minute, we've got one running late, and I do believe we've got one no-show. We have Flicks then tonight making his debut in League of Britain, but can our championship leader Jonathan Cox bounce back from last week's disappointing race at Austria? The Mighty Midget. Oh, what a great name that is. Hello ST mate, how you doing? Welcome into the stream. How's your day been? As we see then John T coming straight out of the pits in the Paprika McLaren. So let's get everything set up. Full track map, lap time enabled, telemetry and tyre. We've got tyres, best, and in gaps we've got fastest lap, leader, none. And obviously once the race begins on the detail, we'll also get pit stops and track limit penalties. So then let's see then 18-minute qualifying session here today. So we'll see who will try and attempt to run the softs, who will try and attempt to run the mediums. Well, I think a few will attempt the mediums to start with, and we'll see what sort of pace they're able to produce to see whether they stick with them strategies. But here we have then John T straight out on the softs. We have Hayden, his sister McLaren. He's come out on the mediums now. Hayden had good pace last week in qualifying, but unfortunately binned it at the end of a lap. Well, not even the end of lap 1. At the end of sector 2 on lap 1, he went right when he should have gone left. So the McLaren snapped away from him. We've got Flicks, J-Tac, Jonathan Cox is on the softs in the pits. Phelan is on the mediums, Mackers is on mediums, Stiffmeister, Hepsty and Bills are all on the mediums at the moment, as we see a few drivers then on their outlaps. But let's pick a board then with John T as he comes around the final couple of corners then to begin his first flying lap of this session. Yeah, I'm alright. I hope we have a good race and it's action packed. Yeah, it should be a good race here tonight in this league anyway. There's quite a few fast drivers that are near the front, and then you've got the balance with the middle and then the rear of the field as well. So it should be interesting. Should have a nice battle, hopefully, between Jonathan Cox and Pegasus at some point. They're looking very close on terms of race pace and qualifying pace for this session. Good evening, Flicks, by the way. So then we see John T through sector 1. DRS is wide open as he comes around the village then. This is a corner a few drivers have been struggling, and onto the old Abbey Straight. Now then, the most difficult corner on the track for a lot of people is coming up. Cops. The McLaren manages to keep it within track limits there, but he looks like he gave it a little bit of a lift just to enable himself to make it round the corner. Down then the hanger straight, DRS wide open. It comes to the end of the lap then, as we look for a benchmark then on the softs, as Feeling goes a 27.7 on the mediums. Can Jonty beat that? He does a 30.3 then, so that was a pretty average lap then for Jonty, a bit of a banker I'd say. As Hepstein, who's that going straight on? It's Jonty! And Jonty's out of qualifying. And Jonty then in the McLaren, unfortunately for him, has DNF'd, and he will start at the back. So at the minute then, Phelan leads the way. He's on a 27.7, but that is a great shame there for McLaren. A DNF for Jonty in qualifying. Oh dear, poor Jonty. Hopefully he lets us know what happened there then. As we then ride on board with the Alpine of Remy on an out lap. And Remy is on the soft compounded tyres. I'm going to shut my window because it's annoying me. There we go. That should stop that noise. So then let's see what can Remy do then on his out lap, as then we see Sir Pegasus. He's set a lap then. He's done a 28.9 on the soft tyres, so that's a bit steady there for Ryan. As though we see we've got a 5 grid then for a driver making contact with Ryan. And who is that then who's got a 5 grid? Where are they currently? Vic, I'm going to call him Vic, down in 11th at the minute. He's got a 5 grid then for a collision with Pegasus. As then we see Remy through sector 1. As then you see, oh, there's contact! Oh dear, that was a day late and $1 short by the Aston Martin there of Flicks, who was sat on the racing line on a cooldown lap and just ruined Remy's lap there. That is a great shame, and Remy has got wing damage from that. And that is a great shame for Remy. He looked pretty quick through sector 1. It was unfortunate, Midget Man. But did you just see that incident there? That looked a bit clumsy then, as J-Attack has gone P2 then. 1.5 tenths behind Phelan. Bills is P3 on the mediums, and Flicks is P4 also on the mediums. Hepster is P5, as then we see Remy does pit. As we're riding aboard then with Jonathan Coxon, and Jonathan Coxon does go fastest of anybody for 1:27.5 on the medium compounded tyres. Let's see what Zora in the Red Bull can do on his lap. As we see the Red Bull then, as he comes down then the Wellington straight, DRS will be wide open. Let's see what sort of first sector time they can produce. They've done a 29 dead. As we approach then the final 10 minutes of this qualifying session, runs a little bit wide there. Let's see then how they will approach Cops then. Being in Red Bull, the normal line through Cops is to go straight into the wall, but what can he do? Lifts a little bit and just about manages to keep it within the track limits. As now he comes towards the end of Sector 2. And there we go, that isn't a validation then. Taking too much curb on entry. You've got to be very careful around this section of track not to abuse the curbs, because we know what strict is like, especially around these sort of sections of track where you've got a lot of them. We've got a spinner in the background. And who is that? And that is the Williams of FT. FT has had a spin then on their hot lap. Unfortunately for ST, they have spun round. So this lap will not be very good. Let's see who else have we got then. Let's ride with ERL Stiffmeister then. He's in the Alpine, on the softs, on an outlap at the minute. As we see, Jonathan Coxon comes back into the pits. Bills has gone up to P2 then, 63 thousandths off the pace. And Phelan has also improved. He's only a tenth of the pace, and he's half a tenth up through sector 1 then. So we will continue on board then with Phelan for the time being. Let's see what sort of a lap time he can produce in sector 2. Can he take a bit more curve on the entry to Copse? Takes a nice wider line there. Will he go flat out? He just about manages to keep within track limits there, but that's a very nice exit from Copse from Phelan. And that's a beautiful shot there of the Alfa Romeo. And then you can see the car behind as well. And he's 71 thousandths up. So at the minute he's gone purple in sector 2. So at the minute this lap time is good enough for a provisional front row. As he comes then towards the final couple of corners of the lap. As we see the Ferrari, the Alfa Romeo, and then he goes P2 then 37 thousandths behind Jonathan Cox. And we're right on board with Pegasus then as he begins his flying lap. And he's on the soft compounded tyres, and he's got the Ferrari of either Super Stee just ahead of him. And this is going to compromise him here, Pegasus. As the Ferrari looks to me like he's also on a hot lap. So this looks like it might be a little bit of bad timing here from Ryan. As he goes purple in sector 1 then. And let's see how he can hang it out on this lap. Has the Ferrari... It is Super Stee. So has Super Stee got enough pace to be able to pull Ryan along here and not hinder him too much on his hot lap? It's looking very close though. He'll be getting affected by the turbulent air, will Ryan. Keeps it within track limits at Copson as we approach the 7-minute mark of qualifying. And yes, the Ferrari will be the Ferrari's holding him up here as Flicks has retired from the session. So Flicks is DNF'd. Ryan is 5 tenths up in sector 2. Oh yes, this is massively compromising Ryan's lap here. Is the Ferrari, but he's on a hot lap as well, so what can he do? As we come into the final couple of corners then, what sort of lap time can Ryan produce? A Super C does spin, and Ryan did invalidate, but Super C had a spin. He's now got that Ferrari facing the right way. But let's see, we'll ride on board with Ryan then as he goes again. Hopefully for him, he's not took too much out of these tyres. And he's got plenty of ERS, as you can see, there's 63% still to use. As he goes purple in sector 1 and 2.5 tenths ahead. Up on his personal best at the minute, but he's got another car in front of him. Oh dear, oh dear. I do hope for Ryan's sake that the Aston Martin does get out of the way for him. And it looks to me like the Aston Martin is on a hot lap as well. Pegasus will go down the inside. Oh, and he's hit the wall! Is this a practice race after the draft? No, mate, this is a league race for League of Britain. LOB League of Britain, this is. It's a different league, completely different league. It's a friends league, so we're just helping out with commentary. But how you doing, Jake? Welcome in, mate. Oh dear, Ryan has hit the wall then. And is that Victor again? It was. So Victor and Ryan. So the Victor's already got a 5 grid for contact with Ryan, and he literally nearly pushed him into the... Well, he did push him into the wall there. So Ryan will have to box. So then as we enter the final 3.5 minutes of qualifying, we've got a few drivers out on outlaps at the minute. So then as everyone comes to now looking to start their final attempt here in qualifying, will we see Phelan come out on the softs? Will we see Jonathan Cox? Bills has retired from the session. Hayden is out on the softs. So what can Hayden do then? As he comes to the end of his lap now, then the time to beat is a 27.5 from Jonathan Cox. Will Hayden improve his time here? He does improve. He goes on to provisional pole then at 3 tenths quicker. And then the Red Bull, was that J-Attack? No, the Red Bull of Zori was literally stopped on the start-finish line there, which could have ended in disaster for the McLaren driver. But thankfully, he was able to avoid any sort of contact. So there's a lot of people here that need to get some sort of spatial awareness, because you don't stop on the racing line, Zori. You literally pull to the side, mate. You don't sit on the racing line when someone's on a qualifying lap like you just did there. So that is not on, mate. That is very, very poor from yourself. As we have Diego on an outlap, Steve Mice on an outlap, Genesis. Let's see what he can do then as he comes around the final couple of corners. Currently last at the minute, yet to set a time though. Yes, Hayden, he did cost you time. I saw that. He just sat on the start-finish straight for no reason. There was no reason for it, as Genesis does go into P7 then. So Pegasus at the minute is on the back foot, and let's ride on board then with Ryan as we picked him up perfectly as he begins his third run in qualifying then. Hopefully he can have a clean lap this time without any traffic, and it looks like, according to the track map, there will be no one getting in his way. There's only the Ferrari that's close up the road, but I do think he will be fine for that sort of distance. As he goes purple in sector 1 then, nearly 3 tenths up on his personal best. As there we see Jonathan Cox has retired, so he's happy with his... Oh, as Pegasus invalidates! Oh dear, Pegasus, he's invalidated. As Phelan, he's gone straight on there. And it looks to me like it's been a bit of a... And it's victorious again. This guy has got no spatial awareness whatsoever. Does he just want to ruin everyone's race? As then we'll pick up with Super Steve down in 16th then in the Ferrari as he begins what will be his final lap of qualifying as we enter the final minute of this session. As Remy has been disqualified. So Remy, who was currently in P12, will now start at the back of the grid. Due to being disqualified from the session for parking the wrong way. Not something you see every day then, an F1 car being parked. What can Super C then do through the first sector? Sorry, the second sector. As there we see then the flag is out, as Pegasus did get round to do another lap, so we'll pick that up later on. As Super C then is 2.5 tenths down his personal best. What is Phelan doing? Phelan boxes. And FT then has got himself on the front row in the Williams, 95 thousandths off Hayden. That's a good lap there, then that knocks Jonathan Cox down to P3. As we see Hepster, he comes around the final couple of corners now. A tenth down. Can he have a good final sector to improve? Around the final corner he comes. No, he's slowed down, so it's all on Pegasus then. He's a second up, and he's gone purple in sector 2. Can Ryan then get his AlphaTauri towards the front of the grid, currently in P10? These final couple of corners, he's got to make count here. He just wants to keep it within the track limits. Where can Ryan put the AlphaTauri? He goes P2, then 14 thousandths off Hayden. So he's improved by 1.6 seconds there. And that puts the AlphaTauri on the front row. Great lap there from Ryan right at the end. So there you have it then, the top three covered by 96 thousandths. Jonathan Cock on the soft tyres then. Mediums. Phelan also on the mediums. And Bills, and that is your top six. But the top two separated by 15 thousandths in qualifying. As we wait for the drivers to make their setup changes from qualifying to the race. So then, as we wait for the grids, we've got a drive-through for Zonti then. He's got a jump start. Oh dear. So that's not a great start for him then. As we see then, Hayden and Pegasus going wheel-to-wheel into turn one. They all look to have got through smoothly here, and it looks like Cox is trying to make a move on the Williams for B3. And we've already got straight away up the straight. Oh, nearly a little bit of contact there, but Cox is through. And he makes that crucial move to get that Mercedes up to P2. And Pegasus goes down the inside of Hayden. It's Bottas versus Hamilton all over a go. And Hayden's going to try and hang it on in the inside. Ryan will try and hang it on around the outside then. And then you get a run to Copse. Are we going to see Hamilton versus Verstappen take two? Will Pegasus go to the inside? Nope, he thinks better of it. He stays there. As we see, Phelan then and Bills going side by side into Copse. And it looks to me like Bills will get the exit and he'll be ahead of Phelan. These two had a great battle last time out in Austria. But nope, Phelan has managed to keep that position for the time being then. As we come down to the hangar straight then for the first time. Lap 1 of 26. Out in front then. It is Hayden that leads, but let's go back to the battle for P6 as Phelan and Bills are going wheel-to-wheel again. Can Phelan try and make a move? Sorry, can Bills try and make a move here? As then we'll go back to our race leader, then Hayden. So this week, he has managed to complete a lap, and he has a lead of Pegasus of the second. So after that initial half a lap where Ryan was right on him, it looks to me like Hayden has a great final sector. As then we see Cox then starting to get right on the back then of that AlphaTauri then. That is the battle for P2. As Bilton's looking really racy here. He wants to try and get past Phelan as quickly as he can. As we see a few drivers then from 12th downwards have all pitted here. And it's looking like a little bit of a train then is already starting to form behind Ryan, but Cox is looking really close here. Can he make a move into Copse? Be a bit risky. He looks a bit too far back for me, but as I say that, Ryan's took 4 tenths out of Hayden, and that will definitely be a track limits warning there for Pegasus. As Cox is looking really racy, can he try and make a move down the hangar straight? That's a great shot there of all the cars. This is the battle for P2, then Cox has got a run. Will he try and go down the inside of Ryan? Will Ryan defend? And Cox has that. Then that was a nice move by Jonathan. He gets himself up into P2. So from P4 on the grid, Jonathan finds himself up into P2 already. And let's not forget, Jonathan is on the medium tyres. It's Hayden that sets the fast lap, and that's immediately beaten there by Cox. Now will Pegasus go for a move into turn one? He has to think better of it there. Wise move there from Ryan, backing out of that one. As we enter the DRS enabled zone then. As we see J Attack then and FT, Phelan are all looking very close to each other as well. Now will we see Pegasus respond straight away on Cox? He'll get a nice run with DRS here. Will we see him move? Will he try and go around the outside? He is going to try and go around the outside. Can Pegasus make it stick? Cox will try and defend, but can Ryan hook that inside? He has to think better of it there and stays behind for the time being. This is a lovely little scrap going on here between these two for P3 and P2. As they both start to use their ERS, and even though they are slightly battling, Hayden isn't getting away as much as I thought he would do. The gap is only a second out in front. And so we see then the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo nearly going side by side there. That could have ended in disaster. But who knows then as we come down then the hangar straight. Will Phelan be able to make a move on J-Attack, who's also got DRS ahead of him? Phelan will try and send it down the inside. As Jonty then has DNF, so it goes from bad to worse for Jonty. He DNF'd in qualifying, he's now DNF'd in the race, and that brings out the VSC then for the first time today. So if anyone has underfueled their car a little bit, this will be ideal for them to try and recoup some of that fuel back. Now, will we see anyone make an early and effectively a cheap pit stop under the VHC system where you have to stick to a set delta? And none of the front runners have then. But depending on how long we have the VSC for, this may help the soft runners out for a couple of laps, as they will not be putting as much stress through their tyres. Now, once we get the VSC and get back under racing conditions, which tyre is going to turn on the quickest? Will it be the mediums of Cox's tyres, or will it be the softs that are run by Hayden, Pegasus and FT? And it looks to me like they've gained a little bit on Hayden here with the VSC, but as you see now, the gap is starting to increase. As then we see Mackers, and he gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Let's have a quick look then. We've already got Flix, who's got 5 seconds. Mackers has got 3. Genesis has got 5, and I'm going to call him Victor. He's got 3 as well. And Diego's got a drive-through penalty then for speeding under the VSC. And the gap out in front then is only 5 tenths. And look at that. Pegasus is right on the back of Cox here. So can maybe Pegasus try and make him move? He goes really wide as right. That's going to compromise his exit. And that will give the Williams a great run in him down the hangar straight. And he's through. That was a nice move there from the Williams after Ryan made a slight mistake there, and that has cost him any chance of going from P2. And some Phelan's DNF'd. Oh dear, poor Phelan, he is out of the race. Last week's race winner is out of the race then, as we pit back on board with Hayden. As then we see Remy gets 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So there you have it then. One of the front runners is already out. Last week's race winner, Phelan, has DNF'd on lap 4 of 26. And then what can Cox do about the McLaren in front of him? He is on the soft tyres at McLaren. Cox is on the medium, so he will have better grip then as the laps progress. And as the McLaren's tyre wear starts to fade. Now, can the McLaren keep him at bay for a few more laps to make his pit stop and maybe make Jonathan use the best of his tyres then? As we're about to come up to the lap car then of the Aston Martin, will he obey the league rules and get out of the way? We saw what he did in qualifying. He wasn't the cleanest. He is ghosted, but he is letting the leaders all through then. As we've got a nice little bit of a train here. The gap out in front then is now 4 tenths. So Cox is really on the charge then. 3.5 tenths now, the gap between the top two. And they've got a second from P1 to P3. And Ryan looks to me like he's recovering a bit then after that difficult restart lap. And look at this then. J-Attack's going to try and make a move. Sorry, Bills are trying to make a move on J-Attack. He has to hold position for the time being, but maybe with the use of DRS, we'll see him make a move then down the Wellington straight. Cox is 5 tenths behind the McLaren, who's a little bit too far back at the minute. Will we see a move between the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull? As Bills will try and go down the inside here. J-Attack takes a nice sweeping line, and Bills has to stay in P6 for the time being then. So we are now on lap 6 of 26 then. And the gap out in front is little more than 3 tenths of a second. So if Jonathan Cox can get a nice run out of these corners and get onto the hanger straight, he can have a great chance of taking this lead then and setting about doing his own race here. He's on the medium tyres, Jonathan, so he's on the prime strategy. He'll get the DRS now, then 5 tenths is the gap. Will he gain enough down the hanger straight to be able to make a move into the braking zone? He's gaining all the time, but he's not going to gain enough. As there you see, the McLaren just stays ahead then for the time being. Been a good defensive drive so far from Hayden, as Bills and J-Attack then go side by side into the final couple of corners. Red Bull versus AlphaTauri. No love lost here. The two sister teams going wheel to wheel. There's a little bit of contact there into the final corner, but Bills makes the move then and gets himself up into P5. As we go back with Cox then, as he's now still only 3 tenths behind the McLaren. He's pushing him along here as we come to the DRS zone then. As J-Attack has managed to get back through then on Bills, but we will run aboard with the battle for the race lead. Cox is looking very close this time. The DRS will help him a lot. Will we see him make a move then into Stowe? Down the inside goes Cox. And he makes that move. He takes the race lead, and that was a nice move from the Mercedes driver. Will Hayden be able to come straight back at him? But look at Bills and J-Attack. They're going side by side once again. On the exit then, will we see them have a nice little scrap down to Cop's corner? Will Bills try and sit down the inside on J-Attack? He has to stay behind for the time being. But Hayden has not let Cox go here. And he'll look to try and make a move down the hanger straight. The top 4 separated by 1.7 seconds at the minute. Now can Hayden make a move on Cox into the braking zone? He's gaining. He goes down the inside, it's Hayden. But Cox takes a nice sweeping line round the outside and manages to carry that momentum with the Mercedes and keep that P1 for the time being. So then, as we go back to the battle then for P5 between the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes. And now Cox has got we've got a VSC out. So we have got a VSC, and Genesis has unfortunately then retired from the session. So unfortunately for him then, we've lost Genesis, Johnsy and Phelan so far from today's race, and we're only on lap 8 of 26 round Silverstone. So we've still got a long way to go, but these VSCs will help the soft runners out to extend their stints and go a little bit longer, as they won't be taking as much life out of their tyres. As there we have it then, a VSC has been disabled, and we are back under racing conditions then, and the gap out in front is 5 tenths. So can Hayden try and pounce and make a move down the hanger straight? To me, looking a little bit too far back, so we will... No, he is gaining. As J-Attack then picks up 3 seconds. We were just going to change and go to battle for P5 and P6. But Hayden then retakes the lead on lap 8 of 26. And then we'll go to Bills versus J-Attack. And Bills has managed to keep himself ahead. And Cox, straight back down the inside then. As MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi would say, once they pass you, you've got to attack back straight away, and Jonathan Cox has done that then and retaken the lead of the Grand Prix as we enter lap 9 of 26 then. We've got a right scrap going on here for the battle for P1. And FT's just a little bit behind here. He's not been able to get involved in the battle out in front. And then you see Ryan as well, just a little bit behind here. He's trying to hang on and hope that he can capitalise on any sort of mistake. Will we see Hayden go down the inside of Cox? The answer is no. Cox takes a nice wide line there and keeps that position. But Cox's tyre advantage should soon start to come into play. As there we see Hayden now straight on the ERS, deploying as much as he can. Zori then has now got 3 seconds time penalty. Looking at the top 4 are covered by 1.5 seconds. And Hayden gets a great exit. Will he try and make a move here? Surely not. No, he thinks better of it. He will wait till the hanger straight and look to repass Cox again, as he has the DRS and the ERS on the go, and he goes to the outside, swoops back ahead of Cox then, retakes the race lead. And there you have it then. We have got a right scrap going on here. Then we see the Williams of FTH then. So he's gone for the pit. So he's looking to make the undercut. So he's either going to go mediums or hards. Mediums are doable here if you box now, as it's not really a high time wear track. But Hayden does lead then on lap 10 of 26. And what has FT gone for as he approaches his pit box now? He has gone for the medium tyres then. And he's serving that penalty. So he's going to come out in P7. As we see then, the AlphaTauri and the Red Bull are still going at it then. Bills and J-Attack, they have literally been bumper to bumper for as long as we can remember in this race. As you can see then, we do have a VSC, so that will help out FT. Definitely help out FT, as we have lost ERL Stiffmeister from the race then. So that will help out FT with his pit stop. Will we see any of the front runners, and if they can get to the pits in time before the VSC ends, this would be an ideal time for Hayden and Pegasus to box and use it as a free, cheap pit stop to gain some time on Jonathan Cox. As we see, they look at that, then DRS has been enabled just before we get to the pit. So Jonathan Cox has obviously paid the FA. Here he gets 3 seconds, then does Cox. And Hayden does pit, as does Pegasus. So Cox then will now lead the race. And Pegasus gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that is going to massively compromise his race. He'll have to wait for 5 seconds, or maybe he'll get 5 seconds added on. Or maybe he'll get 5 seconds added on at the end of this time. We'll see. Yes, they do make the pit stop then, so he will get 5 seconds added on at the end of his time. He's now got to try and push as much as he can. So as you see then, the top 4 are yet to stop. So Cox leads Bills, leads J-Attack, and these 2 cars are battling, and Cox has now got a nice 7-second advantage then over the Red Bull and AlphaTauri ahead of him. So the all-important gap then we've got to watch out for is the gap that is between Jonathan Cox and Hayden. Let's not forget, Jonathan Cox has got 3 seconds on time penalties. Hayden has got 0 at the moment. There's still a long way to go though, so that could change. But Jonathan Cox will probably run the soft tyres at the end of this race, depending on how long he can stretch these mediums for. And we all know how quick Jonathan is a set of softs, as well we see Bills make a move then. He does a defensive move, that does Bills, and J-Attack is trying to make that move and try and gain that P2 for the time being. But all the time these two are battling, this is allowing the guys that have already boxed to gain on them. As Hayden's look has took a couple of attempts then out on Cox on this lap already. So that McLaren is looking very quick at the moment. So we'll pick on board with him now. Let's see, I reckon he's going to do a purple sector 3 here. No purple sector 3, but we see FT then has set fast up the race, and he's right on the back of Pegasus. Look at that, 3 attempts then. As then we see the battle for P2 changing once again. J-Attack has got back ahead of Bills, but we've watched a lot of them so far. So let's ride on board with the Williams. Can he possibly make a move on Pegasus? He gets a slightly bad exit there. And Ryan will be able to fend then into the braking zone. And he does manage to keep that AlphaTauri ahead. And this is all for position then. But let's not forget, Ryan's going to get some pain at the end of this race with that 5-second time penalty. As Hayden then has managed to put himself to 1.3 ahead. As let's look at this then, the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri are still going at it. They've been going wheel to wheel, corner after corner, and this is giving Cox a huge advantage here. As we've got the safety car then. The safety car is out. This will be perfect for Jonathan Cox then. He'll be able to take a nice, slow outlap. Box-free set of tyres. And Pegasus gets another 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. So then we're on lap 15 of 26 around Silverstone. And the majority of the field then are on the soft compounded tyres here. So we're going to get a nice little sprint race at the end of the race. And look at this then. Are we going to have a repeat? We've got a Mercedes and a Red Bull 1 and 2 at the moment. Will we get a repeat of the Silverstone sprint race? We had a nice little ding-dong between Max and Lewis. And then obviously we all know what happened in the main event. So Bills is P3, Hayden P4, FT P5, Hepsty P6. Pegasus will be looking to improve on that P7. He will not want him to be finishing there. But let's not forget then, we've got the top three have all got 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Hayden, FT and Pegasus are the only drivers within the top 8 that don't have time penalties. As in the safety car, is the safety car going to come in this lap, or will we get another lap behind the safety car? It looks to me like we're going to get another lap behind the safety car unless its lights go out now. And the answer is no then, so the safety car will be staying out for another tour of Silverstone. This will help all the soft runners then prepare their tyres and allow them to keep as much grip possible. Oh, look at that! The Williams there tried to make a move behind the safety car. That was very, very risky there from the Williams driver. Yeah? Really? What?
Do you really believe like a fucking £500?
It's more than £500.
Well, more than that then on the floor?
There we go then, back under racing conditions then. We're just coming around to begin at lap 17 of 26. And the safety car is in. Cox leads then from J-Attack. As Bills is looking really racy behind J-Attack. So we'll get on that battle there. Commentary and tea at the same time for me. But Jonathan Cox has absolutely took off here. 1.9 seconds in the lead. After the first sector alone. So he absolutely mastered that restart to Jonathan. As you see Flicks and Remy going wheel to wheel then. And Flicks has got himself up into P8. But look at Cox's lead, it's already 2 seconds. He's got a bolt. As what can J Attack do? Then J Attack gets another 3 seconds, so that's him up to 6. So that is not good news there for J Attack. As see Jonathan Cox just at the fast lap of the race, no surprise there. 28.5 for Mr. Cox. Now Hayden's looking closer to J Attack now as we come down the Wellington Straight. A driver I'm a bit surprised by not making any moves at the minute is Pegasus. I thought he'd be absolutely fine at the minute. Maybe he's just looking after his tyres and going to go at the end. But who knows? A Super C then is looking close to the back of the Alpine of Remy, both on the mediums here. DRS will be enabled next time round. As Bilson sets the fastest lap of the race. He's now only 1.3 behind Jonathan, so that gap has come down. So then with DRS being enabled, can Hayden make a move on J Attack? It gets a little bit loosey-goosey onto the Wellington Straight there. And the answer is no, he's not close enough. Neither is Pegasus. But with DRS enabled now, the racing will get a lot more interesting with the 2 detection points we have here. The Wellington Straight and the Hangar Straight. As ever seen, Hagen down the inside them. This is crucial for his race. As now we see Super Steve pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but that was crucial there. And Pegasus has got past Hepsty as well. So both the moves were made down the Hangar Straight. Now can Hayden set his sights. And he's got a 3-second time penalty as Hayden. That is an absolute disaster for him, as he was looking to try and win this race. And as Hepsy then is straight away on the back of Pegasus. And what's happened to Bills? Has Bills had a spin? Bills has had a spin. He's gone straight round. He's gone from P2, and at the minute he looks like he's going to go out of the point. As we see the sister AlphaTauri being overtaken there by the Alfa Romeo. As there we see him, Hayden has now got himself up to P2. So he's on a charge then. Can he get after Cox? They both have, I believe, and we have another safety car then. So Cox's lead has now been wiped out. So then we'll have the safety car in this lap, and we'll have 3 laps of racing. Oh no! Ryan's been given a 5-second... Oh, what's going on here? What has gone on here? There's been a disaster. And the safety car is going to be redeployed. Surely. Or will it? Don't think it will be. What has gone on here? And FT has bolted then. So can Jonathan Cox, this is going to be crucial for Cox, can he get past the drivers ahead of him to try and get after the Williams driver? He'll have 3 laps to do it. Down the inside of Bills, that's a nice move from Cox. Will Bills try and keep it on the inside? He will do, but Cox should have such better traction. And he does do. In Cox's favor, this is going to be key for Cox's race. We're going to probably stay on board with Jonathan for the majority of these final 3 laps. Can Bills go back down the inside? This is key. If he can, it will hold Jonathan up. Jonathan does go wide. And he manages to keep... Oh, and Jay Attack's round. Jay Attack has made contact with Bills. Now, these two have been very close to each other all race. And contact has been made. Now, can Hayden... This is for the race lead, effectively. No. So then, I said it was the race lead, but let's not forget, FT has not got any penalties. And these boys have. So all he's got to do is keep it from the compounds of this Silverstone track for the next 2.5 laps, and he'll be scoring some points. Some good points. And a race win. So let's go pick up then with the Williams. As he comes around then to begin at lap 25 of 26. They've got Hepsty, Flicks, Jonathan Cox and Hayden all very close to each other here. Now will Flicks try and make a move on Hepsty. And Cox is pushing. She's now 1.9 off the race. Look how late Cox brakes. Can he make a move on Flicks? He's going to try and go down the inside there. Flicks just about manages to keep the door open for Jonathan. Now Jonathan surely is going to get much better traction out of the corner down the Wellington straight. Will he make a move down the inside? He's going to surely have to go for Aries Cox if he wants to get on that podium. And Hayden's there in the background lurking away. As Hepsy then does get another 3-second time penalty. Now can Cox try and make a move? As Flicks has got past Hepsy then, so Hepsy's made a mistake there. And that has promoted Flicks into P2. And Cox then trying to go around the outside. Can he get himself up into P3? Or will Hayden make a move? Oh, and Hayden! Is he hold it? No! He's crashed! Hayden has crashed! There was contact between Hayden and Cox. And Hayden has ended up in the wall. And I think that is Hayden going to be out of this race. Now can Cox make a move down the inside and try and get past Hepsty? The race win has gone for Jonathan. As Hepsy's trying to get around the outside of Flicks. And Hayden's been... Oh, and Hepsy's been spun! Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's look at the penalties. Now Flicks and Cox have both got 3 seconds each. 3 seconds each then for Flicks and Cox. This is going to be a battle then for 2nd place. Hayden, what happened? Please let us know in the stream what happened, mate. I can't repeat your comment because I just can't repeat it. But what happened, mate? It looks like it was all going so well and then it went so wrong. So then FTH leads by 2.6 seconds. As Coxon going to try and go around the outside at Cops. And he gets the move done. That's him up into P2 then. As Bills gets another 3-second time penalty. Now it's all going to be about who has what sort of slipstream, power and DRS down the hangar straight. Will we see Flicks make a move on Cox? He goes to the outside. This is for position. This is for P2 in this race. Flicks is going to try and hang on around the outside. Will we see him make a late move? As Bills tries to go around the outside. And there we see FTH wins the race. FT wins the race. Cox is P2. Flicks is P3. Felt like I had no space. Yeah, we'll definitely have to review that, mate. Flicks then gets the podium. J Attack is P4. FT is P5. Bill's P6. And Mr. Dangerous finishes P7 in the end. But there you have it then, folks. And that is the race over there. And it was a great call by the Williams driver to stay out and run them soft. So he got the strategy absolutely spot on there. And he takes a well-deserved race win after that amazing strategy call from him and his team. So congratulations to him on the race win. Jonathan Cox comes back strong from Austria with a P2, and Flicks takes a podium on his debut then in the LOB League. So there you have it then, folks. We had 13 drivers at DNF, effectively. We only really had 7 finishes, but there you go. FCH wins the race from Jonathan Cox and Flicks. J Attack, Hepsy, Bills, and Victor Roan round out your finishers. And the rest, obviously, unfortunately for them, had a DNF. So there you go, folks. That is it from today's race for LOB League of Britain at Silverstone.